let's do something that all of our members are always asking about anyway, and it's meal prep. And even if you go anywhere, everybody's talking about eating healthy and meal prepping, and now all these companies are coming out, right? Like Eat Clean Bro and Simply Delicious Meals, and there's a lot because people are so confused about proper meal prep and how to make it easy. And that's my goal, is to make it simple for you and just to give you some tips and tricks. So that's really all we're gonna do. Is I have 6 major tips and tricks to give you to help you when you are prepping. My job tonight, and what I hope you can take away from this, is at least getting 1 tip that can make your life a little easier. I'm gonna give you 6, but even if you just take away 1, I'll be really happy. So the first thing I always say is really put it on your calendar. Schedule it. How many of us schedule work? We schedule doctor's appointments. We schedule manicures. Right? We schedule everything else in our life. We even schedule our gym sessions, right? But we don't schedule our food because it's like one of those like, I'll figure it out. I'll do it when I have time. I'll, whatever. If I don't, I'll just go get pre-made stuff, right? So I feel that you really should be scheduling this. It doesn't have to be the same day every week because sometimes life's going to take a little speed bump and little turns here and there, and you might not be able to do that. But I feel like you should put it in your calendar. Block out 4 hours a week for your meal prep. I feel when you put it on your calendar and you schedule it, you're not gonna not do it. Unless something like emergency comes up, and then you gotta reschedule, right? Because there's always that reschedule button that you can press. So I'm a big fan of paper and pen. That's how I do my planner, and I actually put in my planner, cook, and I block off my time. So I feel that if you could do that, at least it's part of your everyday routine or every week routine, and it's dedicated time where you know you're not going to take phone calls, you know you're not going into the office, you know you're not getting your manicure, and you're not going to schedule a doctor's appointment at that time. So that's my first thing, is to really schedule it, okay? Now, it takes 21 days to roughly form a habit, 6 months to make it lifestyle. But those first 21 days are pretty crucial. So really get in the habit of scheduling it. It's the only way it's really going to stick, I think. Well, I feel. It could stick other ways, but I think scheduling is really important. It also brings me to my second thing. Make it really simple. Like, yes, diversity is great. You can make diversity, like Lisa just said, really simple, but keep it really simple. How many times do you think, like, all right, I'm going to meal prep. You have about 20,000 ingredients, 10 different recipes, containers everywhere, and you look around and you're like, oh my God, like short circuit, right? Like, just like, it's too much to handle, and you get really aggravated, you're like, I can't do this. Like, you just want to shut down, go drink your wine instead, right? Have a good time. So I feel that, like, if you can keep it really simple, it takes a lot of the angst out of it. It just makes it feel not so miserable, and it also cut down on your time. So if we can keep it simple, really easy. Also, in your first 21 days, if you're trying to form this habit, you want to keep it simple. If you overcomplicate it in the beginning, it's going to be like, whoa, I can't keep this up forever. I always say keep it really easy for the first even month, and then start to play around with recipes and diversity. So here's one of the ways, and I think, Allison, you probably know this because I think I've talked to you about this one before, keeping it simple. What I will do, and what I've done for many years, because I have been meal prepping for a long time, and I used to meal prep for people too. I used to have like 7 people I would cook for at one time, anywhere from 5 to 7 meals a day, 7 days a week. Crazy, right? So one of the things I found that works really good is kind of put it out there where it's like, all right, this week I'm going to focus on chicken, or just pick one lean meat. You can cook it many different ways. You can take grilled chicken and make it taste different 5 different ways by using spices. So I always encourage that you pick one type of protein for the week and run with it. So your major meals, keep it really easy. Say, this week, I'm gonna make turkey. And if you don't want to eat the same turkey every day, you make it differently. Maybe one day use Cajun spices. Maybe on 3 other pieces, use Italian spices. Maybe use more Indian spices on the other ones. That way you're eating the same protein. You're only buying one thing, so you're saving time on that too and money on that. But then also you're tricking your mind to think that you're eating something different every day or every couple days. Or I always like to say like A and B, like this spice flavor A and spice flavor B. So on Monday I'm going to do A, on Tuesday I'm going to do B. So it doesn't feel like I'm eating the same thing. The third thing, my favorite one, is you got to set the mood. Again, how many of us feel and sometimes think that meal prep is a death sentence? Right? It's like misery. Right? It's, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to spend my only day off cooking all day. Especially if you have a tribe of family. It's a lot of people you have to cook for, right? So I say set the mood when you're cooking. Like my favorite thing to do when cooking is throw on some crazy music. So I'll set the mood. Like I'll get into really comfortable clothes. I'll go barefoot because I always feel best barefoot. I just like to run around a lot. But I'll put some really cool music on. Like one week if I'm in the mood, I'll do jazz. Because it's like, all right, I can get into some jazz music. Today I was cooking and it was Spanish music. It was all Latino music. And Anthony was in the kitchen when he was trying to dance as I'm chopping things up. It was crazy. But it was fun because it was really fun, light atmosphere. Another thing I also like to do is maybe have a glass of wine when I'm cooking. How many of you like to do that? That's a lot of fun. That makes the mood always really good. Just be mindful, if you are chopping, don't drink. maybe chop real quick and then drink. Be careful if you're chopping if you have a little buzz on, right? Don't drink too much. But I do really like to have a glass of wine when I am cooking because again, it just calms me down and it puts me in a really good state. I feel really relaxed and then I got my music on and the atmosphere is really nice. Something also I like to do is I diffuse essential oils while I'm cooking. Something that's very uplifting. So even though I can do uplifting and grounding and calming at the same time, something that just makes it smell good and it's like, refreshing and fun. So those are like things that I like to do to set the mood. Now my meal prep is not as miserable as it could be because it's like, all right, I look forward to it. It's my time and it's also my time that I'm putting into my body, right? So I know I'm loving my body, I'm giving myself self-love because I'm going to be treating it good all week long with high quality food. And I'm going to have a glass of wine and listen to good music, come on, right? So setting the mood is really something that can really be beneficial. The next one is this is one of the best time savers is use tools. And I was talking about Pampered Chef in this one, so I am going to talk about it again. But using tools in your kitchen can really cut down the amount of time you're actually doing things. How long does it take you to chop a cup of onions? It's a long time. Sometimes you cut yourself if you have nails. Sometimes you nick the nail. Thank God it's not the finger, but the nail gets nicked. It can be dangerous, especially if you're drinking. But it's also time consuming. So I'm a big fan of using tools. Food processors are like the best thing ever, right? Just pulse, it chops for you. Easy. And it's easy cleanup too. I use mandolin. Well, I don't use mandolins. I'm scared to death of a mandolin. I really think I'm going to chop my finger off. I have a fear. It's a really bad phobia. However, it's a great tool to use if you want to slice something up. I was talking to Anthony. There's this thing Pampered Chef has. It's this rubber silicone sleeve that you put garlic in and it takes the peel off your garlic. How many times do you try it? Do you guys all use garlic to cook with?
I just bought him 3 minutes.
Okay.
Because I'm lazy.
No, it's a pain in the ass. Because if your fingers are slightly wet and you try to take that skin off, it sticks to you, you can't get the skin off, then try to chop it, the garlic's going this way, it's going that way, it's a fucking mess, right? So some companies make really awesome tools, and I do talk about it because it was a godsend when I bought these two things. You put the garlic whole in this little thing, you roll it around like a little roller, and it takes the peel off. And you put it in a little slicer, and all you do with the whole bowl, and you just slice. Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful, how are you? I don't know you're up.
And you just slice it. So now there's no cutting, and there's no mess, and there's no stickiness on your fingers from the garlic. So I always encourage using tools. That literally takes about 5 minutes out of my time of cutting each garlic thing. So use your tools, use your crock pots, use your food processors, your choppers, your Vitamixes, all that stuff. It will save you so much time by using that. And again, if you can gain 20 to 30 minutes of your day back, wouldn't that be awesome? Like I wish I could add 30 minutes to my day every day. I think life would be great. But we don't get to do that. So if you can do that using tools and cut down time, awesome. All right, the next thing, and this is my utmost in organize. Okay, sometimes I can't spell, so I apologize. I have to phonetically say it. I think this is the most important thing when you're talking about meal prep and really making it quick and simple is the organization of it. So if you know what you're going to be cooking, you kind of have to do an assessment in your kitchen and see what you need to go to the store and buy, right? So do any of you write grocery lists out, or do you just go into the store blind? You have to.
And they have great apps for it too.
They do. They totally do. Apps, you can do anything on an app now. But yeah, grocery lists are huge. They're so important. First of all, you're not going to buy all the unnecessary stuff and spend 3 times the amount you wanted to spend. But also for ease of shopping. I do have OCD. It is self-diagnosed, but I think I have OCD. And my organization, probably you're going to find out right now why. But when I know what I'm going to be cooking, one of the big things I do is I write my grocery list out according to how the store is laid out.
Me too.
Oh my God, you do? Yes! I'm not the only one! Isn't it so much easier?
My mom is
My wife
crazy
gets
because
mad
like
at
she
me because I
would,
don't.
Oh, she does too. I love her.
she would like write like, you know, like the frozen stuff is at the end, and so she'd have these like lists, and then all of a sudden like, you know, frozen vegetables would be like all the way down here, and there's this big gap, and I'm like, Mom, why do you write like this? She's like, oh, it's like, you know, so it's like easier, you don't like forget stuff, and you don't have to go back and forth.
That's
And
it.
now I do it, because I thought my mom was crazy, and now I do
But isn't it so much
exactly-
easier?
Yeah.
So the reason that we do that is so you're not like a what's the thing called? A ping pong.
Yeah, and then every line going.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like always at 5:30 when ShopRite is insane.
Yeah.
And that's looking at the list too.
Well, because it's not organized, you know? So how many times are you in like the produce section, you're like, all right, I got this, and then you are in the frozen section, you're like, I forgot the garlic. Damn, I gotta go all the way back there because it was last on your list, because it's the So I feel like if you can organize even your shopping list according to the grocery store,
I never
game changer. Like you will save so much time. And again, if we can get back any amount of time in our day, heaven, right? And it's making this process quicker and easier.
And if you're using apps also, like the ShopRite app, it organizes it for you.
Yes,
so if
it
you put it
does.
on the list, you have
I
bread,
always say, I'm like,
jump it.
people probably think, what is wrong with this girl? She literally is just going back and forth across the
Oh.
store. Like, I just tell myself I'm getting my steps in. I'm like,
That's a good way to look at it. That's a great way to look at it, Ben. That can work if you're trying it. But really, get your steps somewhere else and save the time. But no, it really is good to do it that way because it's like, all right, you can zip, done. Go home and start the process. That's part one of organization. It's picking out the foods, writing your list, and then shopping. Now, when you get home and you want to cook, that's where the organization really needs to happen too. How many times do you pick out like 2 or 3 different recipes and you have every ingredient out and you have no counter space to even do anything with because you're like, everything's out there. So one of the organizational things I say is take one thing at a time and lay out everything you need for that recipe and organize it in a fashion of what you're going to use. All of your cutting stuff here, all of your spices here, all of your other stuff here. And again, if you can organize it that way, it'll make the flow of the cooking a lot easier. To take that even a step farther, if you are using a recipe, why not prepare, like, you know how it says ingredients and it gives you all the measurements? Why not pre-measure everything out before you start cooking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So how many times you start cutting something and you're like, oh, I gotta mix this here. And you're like, oh man, I gotta go back and cut this. Oh, I forgot that teaspoon of that. Oh, take your ingredients, say, okay, this calls for a cup of onion, a cup of celery, a cup of this, a cup of that. Chop it all up and put them in bowls. Then with your spices, take your spices, get little ramekins, and measure out all your spices and ramekins. You see it on the food shows. They do that for a reason. It makes it much easier. So pre-measure your stuff out and organize it. When it's all done, then look at how you do it and start putting it together. Now, here's my thing though. If you do cook in bulk, I highly advise storing in glass or stainless steel. If you store in plastic, your food will turn way quicker. So I know this for sure, I've done it, I've witnessed it, but like if you cook quinoa or rice and you put it in plastic and put it in the fridge, it'll go bad in 2 or 3 days. If you put quinoa already cooked in glass or stainless steel and then airtight seal it, it'll last for a week and it still is fresh at the end of the week. So everything that you can cook, throw it in stored glass or something. And also I like cooking in bulk for storage space in my fridge. How many times, like listen, if you're cooking 3 meals a day for 5 days, you got 15 meals in little Tupperwares, come on. Can you really fit all that in your fridge?
Well, then you have, if you and your husband are both, meal prepping, it's a joke.
It is a joke.
It's a joke.
It is. Who has, the money for all those containers? Who wants to clean all of those containers? And then who's got the storage for it? So I love cooking in bulk. I store everything in big tubs, and big jars and whatever I have in my house. I store it in that, and then all it is just taking it out and getting the scale and measuring it the next day or the night before, depending on, if you need to do it the night before for work reasons. But that is one of the biggest things I'm going to say for after the prep, to keep your food safe and also to keep it where you don't have to cook 2-3 times a week. Guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Honestly,
That
this
was
is lovely
awesome.
meeting you.